the network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
This is Tim Albright with AVNation with an AVNation special, talking with an old friend of ours, Mr. Randy Klein. We had a press release come across the desk here. Randy Klein has joined the Xyte advisory board. We know the folks at Xyte, and then we've talked with them a number of times. But with us to discuss his new role at Xyte is Mr. Randy Klein. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Tim. Nice to be here.
Nice to see you. Last time you and I chatted, you had stepped away from a position you had for a number of years. You've been in the industry for decades. You've been at the focal point, at the key points of transitions throughout this industry for a number of years. And now you're joining a company that focuses on hardware as a service. That is what Xyte does. And in our interviews with Omer over the last year or so, I'm still wrapping my head around kind of that model. But what drew you to Xyte? What drew you to this position and to this company?
All right. Thank you. Well, you're right. I didn't. Last time we talked, I was going fishing and golfing, and didn't think I would. I thought I'd run into you somewhere else, like on the golf course, than I would in an interview, and really had no plans to do this. But I think the bottom line is the industry. You said it nicely, decades. You just didn't quantify. There's a lot of decades I've been in this industry. It's the only industry I've ever known, the only jobs I've ever known, the only thing I know how to do, and as a result, it's something that I really love and care about, regardless of working or not working. It's something that I love and care about very, very deeply. The industry today is, and this was, I think, somewhat obviously accelerated by the pandemic, but the industry today is so vital to everyone's lives, at home and at work and at play. It's crucial, it's critical. People going home, people coming back to work. When they come back to work, they want to be able to meet and collaborate, and they want to be able to share ideas, whether you're local or remote. And our industry provides the resources and technology to do that. As you mentioned, I've been behind a lot of different pivots and transformations in our industry. We were fortunate enough at Crestron to take a leadership position in bringing Ethernet to our industry, in transforming the industry from analog to digital. And I strongly believe, and still continue to believe very strongly, that the next transformation and the next life-changing moment of our industry is changing it, transforming it beyond a single transaction, black box or software, to a subscription model. It's not just hardware as a service. That's an overused and under-practiced saying, but provide the technology, to provide the experience, to provide everything that embodies that technology and experience on a subscription basis, to pay for it as usage rather than just a single transaction. In my belief, the days are numbered or nearing to be gone of a company saying, an enterprise saying, we have 100 rooms, we're going to buy X thousands of dollars per room, we're going to install it, we're going to write a check to the provider, and then in 3 to 5 years, we're going to rip it out and start over again. It has to change. You have to be able to consume on an as-needed basis. You have to be able to always enjoy the latest technology. We do it in every other aspect of our lives. We buy our telephone usage we buy our electricity on a subscription model. Everything we do. You don't own Netflix. You don't own Office 365. Nobody owns anything anymore like that. You buy it as you need it. You use it as you need it. But it's not about a financial transaction. It's about the services and support behind it. Think of it as the automobile or even the electric automobile, because Tesla kind of is a subscription-based model. You have a car, you have the infrastructure called the road, but what would it be if you didn't have the charging stations along the way? And that completes the support and the services model. So it's well beyond the hardware of a service. Getting back to your question, what led me to do this? It led me to be involved with Xyte, something I've believed in for quite some time, something that I believe the industry had to evolve to. And I left, and I knew Omer and his father for decades. Omer actually was part of Restaurant Israel. He left to start his company. I got re-engaged with Omer. He called me up after I left, and he says, "Let me show you what I've got." And my eyes just popped right out of their sockets. I mean, he did exactly what needs to be done. He has everything. It's as many people think, and people. I've talked to people recently many times. People say, "Oh, so it's software with a lease?" No, it's not software with a lease. Omer has built the entire infrastructure, the entire the hardware, the services. How do you acquire it? Through an operating, so people can buy it on an as-needed basis through an operating budget rather than a capital budget. He has everything, and he's done it. And there was no doubt in my mind. I said, I want to be involved. How do I want to be involved? He's one of the brightest, smartest, most energetic guys I know. He is terrific. I really think the world of him. The only thing that he doesn't have, because he's got more energy and more intelligence than I'll ever think, but what do I have that I could offer him that he doesn't? And that's experience. I have the experience of pivoting and experience of building organizations and the experience of working and helping people grow into their positions and flourish throughout their careers. And that's what I offer Omer. He's done the hard part. I can just help him along. But I couldn't be, there's a reason why it's called Xyte, because we can use it all the time. I couldn't be more excited than it's just phenomenal what he's done. And I'm very, very thrilled to be part of it.
Well, let's take some of that experience here, because you mentioned something, and I want to get your perspective on this. Take for a second when you were involved in kind of the digital transformation and going from analog to what ended up eventually being AV over IP. Talk for a second about that focal point and compare and contrast that to, as you say, the move needs to be more to subscription. Like, where are we at in comparison to that focal point in the history of the industry? Are we ahead of schedule? Are we behind schedule? And how does this move with Xyte help move the industry forward?
I don't want to sound negative at all to anything, because I'm all about the future and all about change. I'm a change agent. But the reality is we're not very far at all. Okay, everybody realizes they want to. It's kind of like electric cars. We finally woke up, and after all these years, say, well, let's get an electric car. But there's very few, I forget the number, maybe there was a story published the other day, it was like 5% of the cars are electric today in the United States. And then it's a matter of building from there. We're aware, we're in the awareness stages right now. We think we've accepted it. This is my view, at least. We think we've accepted it, but we really haven't, because we don't really understand what it is. We still think of it as, oh, it's a leasing model. You buy it, instead of writing a check for $1,000, you pay it over 24 months. No, this is not a financial transaction. This is about being able to the digital services, and whether it be upgrades to products and whether it be warranty services. It's about the entire the subscription model embodies far more than just a financial transaction. So it's about awareness. It's about education. Xyte made its debut at ISC just a few weeks ago, and from my understanding, the reception was phenomenal. And when I mean the reception was phenomenal, it opened eyes and it educated those people, re-educated those people, made them re-aware, and so they know what to do next. I was already educated. I was aware and I was educated. I was just unfulfilled. So when Omer showed me what he had, my eyes were open before the second sentence. But the industry needs to have real education behind it. And I've approached the leaders of the industry to start to develop a curriculum to teach the members of the industry how to develop a true subscription model in what they offer to their customers. So it's not just an Xyte commercial. I mean, everything that an integrator or a manufacturer, from a manufacturer to an integrator to the integrator's customer, they have that subscription-based model has to be offered. The integrator has to offer it to their customers, and they have to have the resources from the manufacturer or the products from the manufacturers to do it. Long story short, we have a long ways to go, and truthfully, that's what excites me about the opportunity, because I like to build, I like to change, I like to create opportunities through those change and through that building, and I think that Xyte has just an absolute the brightest future ever, and the opportunity in front of it. But can't do it alone. It needs the support from the industry. Not surprisingly, it has huge support from the customers, from the end users. Now we've got to supply them, and that comes from the industry, from the manufacturers, from the integrators. And I think it's a huge challenge, but it's a great opportunity as well.
Yeah, I think that pull and that interest from the end user, I think, is going to be really, really interesting to see.
Not to interrupt, Tim, but surprisingly, that was the same, my experience with digital to analog. It was the end user that caused that pull from the industry that says, deliver this. It was the end user that knew, because their communications were digital, all right? Their imagery and other things were digital. Well, why can't my AV system be digital? So the end user is saying, I buy my software, I buy my network appliances, I buy my telephones, I buy my copiers, I buy everything on a subscription basis. Can't I buy my AV?
No, absolutely. All right, look ahead, and I have gotten away, especially with the pandemic, I've gotten away of asking people 5-year questions, because I've learned there's no point. But let's take a year, right? What are you most looking forward to over the course of this first year with you joining the advisory board with Xyte?
I hate to repeat myself, but I'm looking forward to telling the story, to changing the lives in the industry, and watching people's reactions and eyes open and accept it and change their business. I'm looking forward to telling the story, having our customers, Xyte's customers, accept it and use it, and watch their businesses change, just like it did from analog to digital, just like it did from Ethernet. Watch their businesses change, watch their businesses grow, and continue to watch and experience our great industry being at the top always.
All right, very good. Randy Klein, thank you so much, sir. People can connect with you on LinkedIn, I'm certain, if they want to find out, though, more about Xyte.
Yes, they can, although I found out I have a lot to learn about that platform, but yes, they can.
Well, we can get you some people if you'd like.
Okay.
You can go to Xyte, xyte.io, xyte.io for more information.
I should remind everybody they have a tremendous exhibit at Infocom coming up next week. People stop by. take a look. I think you'll see a lot of great positive reaction and acceptance.
And will you be there?
I plan on being there, yes.
All right, very good. That right now with everything, that's about as good of an answer as any of us can get. Yes, I plan on being there. So for us, for AVNation, go by our website, avnation.tv. That's avnation.tv. Find more interviews like this, another one with Randy, or all of our coverage of InfoComm 2022. All that and more at avnation.tv. That's avnation.tv.